Good evening. That was loud. Now, normally I would sit up here, but I'm rather short and have a hard time seeing everybody over the monitors, so I'm going to stand if nobody minds.
Commissioner Kochmeyer's here.
Thank you, Commissioner. I believe I also have Chairman Roop and Commissioner Coleman. Is that correct?
Commissioner Holzman is also on the line.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, I'm here, Judge.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now, it's my understanding we only have a few people that are signed up to talk and that are here today. Why don't we go ahead and go on the record? Good evening. It's February 1st of 2023, and the current time is 6:16 p.m. The question and answer portion of the hearing just ended, and if you had questions about this rate case, I hope you were able to get answers to those. Now, the Missouri Public Service Commission has set aside this time for a local public hearing in file number ER-2022-0337, a general rate case which is captioned as in the matter of Union Electric Company doing business as Ameren, Missouri's tariffs to adjust its revenues for electric service. My name is John Clark, and I'm the regulatory law judge overseeing this hearing this evening. Now, the Missouri Public Service Commission regulates the rates charged by investor-owned utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The Commission also regulates the quality of service and the safety of operations of investor-owned utilities. Now, the Commission is made up of 5 commissioners, Chairman Scott Roop, and Commissioners Maida Coleman, Jason Holzman, and Glenn Kochmeyer. One commission seat is currently vacant. Now, the commissioners are appointed by the governor to fixed terms and confirmed by the Senate. The commissioners employ a staff of engineers, accountants, attorneys, financial analysts, and other specialists in the field of utility regulation. Now, the commissioners that are with me today are Commission Chairman Scott Roop, Commissioner Maida Coleman, and Commissioner Jason Holzman. And they are participating tonight via WebEx. And would any of the commissioners like to make an opening statement?
No, thanks, Judge, but I think Commissioner Kochmeyer is also on the line.
I apologize. I'm sorry. And Commissioner Kochmeyer's here, so we have a full house of commissioners this evening. Now, there's a court reporter sitting next to me, so if you make your comment, be aware that a court reporter is going to be taking those down for the record so that we can review those comments later, should we need to. I'm going to begin by asking counsel to enter their appearance for the record, starting with Ameren, Missouri.
Thank you, Judge. My name is Jim Lowry, representing Ameren, Missouri, in this local hearing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry. For the commission staff?
Casey Aslan for commission staff, and my contact information has been provided to the court reporter.
Thank you, Ms. Aslan. And on behalf of the Office of the Public Counsel?
Nathan Williams, appearing on behalf of the Office of Public Counsel and the public. I have provided my information to the court reporter as well.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And there are a number of interveners in this case. Are there any parties that are present this evening I have not called? And I hear nothing and see nothing. Now, for those who are providing comments today, I'm going to call the names listed on the sign-up sheet in the order they appear. When I call your name, please come down to that podium right there. At that time, I'm going to ask you to state and spell your name for the court reporter for our record. And at that time, I'll place you under oath, and you'll have an opportunity to offer your comments to the commission. Also, after you've made your comments, please remain at the podium for just a second. I may have questions for you. The commission may have questions for you, and some of the attorneys present may have questions for you. If anybody has questions, please feel free to just kind of pipe up and let me know. And this is for the attorneys and the commission as well, because I have no way of knowing otherwise. Now, the commission will not be able to answer any of your questions this evening, and that's because they have to remain impartial until after the evidence is presented at the evidentiary hearing. If you have questions about this case, please speak to representatives of the company, the commission staff, or the Office of the Public Counsel. Also, when people up here speaking at the podium, please give them the respect they deserve and treat them as you yourself would like to be treated. I'm going to say, because I know there's only a few people that have signed up tonight, and I don't know how many people have come to just watch. If you're on the fence about offering comments to the commission, I would urge you to lean towards doing so. The commission's going to have an opportunity to hear the parties' arguments and evidence at the evidentiary hearing and in the parties' briefs, but this is the commission's opportunity to hear from the public, and we do very much want to hear what you have to say. With that in mind, I'm going to call the first witness to offer comments. Is there an Adam Weber present? Mr. Weber, would you please come down to the podium?
Thank you, sir.
Would you state and spell your name for the record, and then I'll place you under oath?
Yeah, Adam Weber, ADAMWEBER.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at this local public hearing this evening is the truth?
I do swear.
And what would you like to tell the commission this evening?
You want me to go ahead and talk about the statement I prepared?
Please.
Okay, thank you. So I live just outside of Jefferson City here, and I first want to say that Ameren has always provided good and reliable service to my family, and I believe their transmission distribution service is very good. We appreciate that, and I hope that trend continues, and I have no concerns that it won't continue. I am concerned, however, with Ameren's ability to provide sufficient generation in times of extreme weather, which is when the end user needs it most, which is partly what was said earlier. So from my research, I believe the following facts to be true, just in looking through things that I can find. Ameren is a member of MISO, the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator. MISO declared in 2022 that they may not have enough generation for an extreme summer peak. NERC's 2022 Summer Reliability Assessment stated that MISO was at a high risk for insufficient generation for a summer peak. NERC's 2022-23 Winter Reliability Assessment that was just before the winter storm in December also stated that MISO was one of 4 U.S. regions with risk for firm load shed during extreme weather. And they stated that this was because 4,200 megawatts of coal and nuclear generation had been retired since last winter. In 2022, MISO strongly urged Ameren to keep Rush Island open until transmission improvements could be made, which I think is a good thing. I appreciate that. And just some things in general that I've seen from the industry over the last couple years. MISO released a max generation alert 3 times since February 2021, so 2 winter storms ago. I think MISO issued an EEA2, an energy emergency alert, on December 23rd of 2022. I believe MISO issued an EEA Energy Emergency Alert 3, including load shed in February of 2021. And there was, in the February 2021 winter storm, there was manual load shed, including rolling blackouts, in ERCOT, SPP, and MISO. And in December of 2022, during extreme weather, there was manual load shed in the New England ISO, PJM, TVA, utilities in North Carolina and in Georgia. I believe California ISO has also load shed in the recent past as well, which I believe includes every market in the United States except the New York ISO. So I believe that from what I could tell from MISO's website, that the solar contribution to the MISO evening peak on December 23rd was 0 because it was in the evening, it was dark. And it appears the peak exceeded the NERC's, the Winter Reliability Assessment's extreme weather peak demand that was in the report, the projection that was in the report. So it seems to me that we're seeing load growth in our areas, and to me these facts are very alarming. When we see so many plants being retired before we can get reliable and dispatchable generation online. So my request, I would ask that Ameren not retire reliable and dispatchable power plants while we're seeing load growth so that we can all have the energy we need when we need it the most. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I support what you guys are doing.
Okay, thank you. And I've got a couple questions for you, and then I'm going to ask you a
Okay.
question about your statement, if you would like. you spoke very specifically about a lot of these things in a way I'm not used to hearing at public hearings. Do you have a utility background of any kind?
I do, yes, but this is all for me as a ratepayer for Ameren. So I live just outside of Jefferson City here.
Okay, and that's fine. Can I ask what your utility background is?
I'm an electrical engineer.
Okay. And if I had to summarize your two major points, it would be sufficient generation. You're concerned that there won't be sufficient generation during extreme weather events due to growing load and the retirement of generators.
That's correct, and I hope that this, some of the money can be used to keep these reliable and dispatchable power plants online so that we don't have the rolling blackouts that virtually everywhere east of Missouri saw, or many states east of Missouri saw in December, and many other states saw in February of 2021.
Now, you had indicated that you had good, reliable service, is that correct?
Yes.
During any of these events you mentioned, was your service at any point cut off?
Nope, everything was really good at our house.
Okay, well, that's good to know. You indicated you had a written statement, is that right?
Yeah, that was just what I read.
Okay. Were you satisfied with having read it into the record, or would you like to admit that as an exhibit?
I can leave it if you would prefer.
That's 100% your choice. If you would like me to mark that as an exhibit and attach it to the record, I would be happy to do so.
Okay, yeah, that would be good. Who do I need to give it to?
I'll come get it.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Okay.
Are there any questions for Mr. Weber? I hear none. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Mr. Weber. I appreciate your comments.
Yep, thank you.
And Mr. Weber's statement, I will have marked as Jefferson City Local Public Hearing Exhibit 1. Okay, the next person I have signed up to speak is, and I'm sorry, I'm having a little difficulty reading, so forgive me if I butcher your last name, Cindy Caplia?
I'm sorry, the lady just asked me to sign, so.
No, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure it's my reading. Please come on down to the podium.
No, she said everybody had to sign. So
Oh,
I was here.
okay. You didn't have any comments you wanted to make this evening?
She didn't ask me, she just said I needed to sign.
Okay, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, and I certainly didn't mean to put you on the spot if you didn't want to be. If you do have a comment, you're welcome to make it. May Browning. Mary Browning. I apologize. Thank you so much.
You probably just couldn't read my writing.
Would you state and spell your name for the record?
Mary Browning, MaryBrowning.
And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this evening at this local public hearing is the truth?
I do.
Okay, and what would you like to tell the commission this evening?
I think the biggest issue I'd like to talk to the commission about is encouraging these alternative energy, particularly solar energy. If there's a way in this case to encourage that, and encourage Ameren, and encourage the user. So I would love to see that. I also, during the question and answer period, ask a question, and I think I understand the answer, and I don't know if it's okay for me to say something about that here. But one of my issues is really about, as a solar investor, selling at wholesale and paying retail to use the energy back. And I think I understood the gentleman correctly when he said they're required to charge everyone the same, which is understandable, but I don't know. The question that I have is really related to whether if there are any regulations related on what they can provide the solar investor on their investment in terms of expanding the grid and making more energy available. Because that, to me, seems like a win-win. The customer wins, Ameren wins because they expand the grid. And hopefully sort of make some buffer against the usages. Now, of course, in the middle of the night, we're not going to get anything unless you can store the solar, and that I don't know the answer to that question, but if I can ask I know this is not the question and answer period. I didn't have that question at the time, so.
Well, as I indicated before, the commission can't answer questions this evening because we have to
Right.
remain neutral. It sounds like what you're talking about is what are called the net metering rules. At least that's what it sounds like, and I could be wrong. I will say that if you have questions about that, about the net metering rules, you can certainly contact the commission staff, the Office of the Public Counsel, or the company, and they might be able to answer your questions, but I'm sorry, I cannot this evening.
Okay.
Was that the only comment you had?
I think if there's a way during this case to encourage Ameren's incentivizing or helping their average customer in terms of solar energy and expanding the grid in that manner, I would love to see the Office of Public Counsel maybe saying something about that.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Sure.
Are there any questions for Ms. Browning? I have none. Thank you very much for your comments this evening. Now, this was a short list. I only had a few people signed up to speak tonight. I don't know who else is here, but at this time, is there anybody else who would like to offer comments to the commission? Okay. I see no hands, and I haven't heard anybody say anything, so I'm going to say going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, thank you so much. Would any of the commissioners like to make any closing remarks this evening?
No, thank you, Judge. We just appreciate people coming down and making comments.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like those people to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Again, I hope if you had questions, you were able to get those questions answered. We appreciate the comments we received. As I indicated, this is the Commission's chance to hear from the public, and we look forward to hearing the public's comments, good, bad, or otherwise. If you get back home and you decided that you had wanted to make a comment, but you didn't have, you didn't get a chance to, or you were talking to somebody and they say, hey, I wish I could have gone to that and have made some comments, you can still make comments. You can make written comments by contacting the email address pscinfo@psc.mo.gov. If you go to the Commission's webpage, there should be a link that would allow you to make comments on this case. You would need to know the case number, which is ER-2022-0337. You can also contact the Office of Public Counsel. They've been very gracious about seeing that comments get filed with the Commission. With nothing else before the Commission this evening, I'm going to adjourn this hearing and we will go off the record. Thank you very much for your time and have a safe trip home.
Thank you, Judge.